was so good.
That was delightful.
It's a 4-person mailbag right there.
That was perfect. We're going to let's do the mail.
Do the physical mail first?
Physical mail.
Letter or package?
Package.
Package. We've got a package here from Cinema SF, Balboa Street, San Francisco, California. I guess that's a video
We got
store.
this like a week and a half ago, and I've thought about it every day.
We got it a while ago.
I don't know what it is.
We've been saving it to open on the show, so I'm going to open it. Looks like t-shirts. We've got a San Francisco t-shirt. Look at that shit. That is
oh my God,
from the Balboa Theater. From the Balboa Theater. Look at that shit. Is fucking amazing. This is the first time we're seeing this too, everybody. Here, hold on to that.
Okay.
We've got another t-shirt. 3 t-shirts, it looks like. Zach Galifianakis would probably like the Balboa Theater. That is exceptional. It looks like the Wolfman. That is amazing. All right. And then one more. The Balboa Theater.
Oh my God.
Isn't it too dreamy?
Oh my God, this one.
That's yours.
I call
you
this
gotta
one
have
for
that
sure.
one, yeah. I think I want the orange one.
Wait,
oh my God.
Wait, there's only 3 t-shirts.
Wait a minute, who's that voice? Who's that voice?
T-shirts. It's been 4. You didn't know I was gonna
Kevin, get over here.
I'm gonna squeeze in here somehow. Where do I go?
Just
Here?
Right here is
yeah,
fine, yeah.
Just pop a squat.
Sit
Like our
Commander
small
Riker style.
son.
Can I say here, is it weird? Their small son?
Like our small
Our
son.
small adult son?
Oh my God, these are awesome. Is there a letter? Or did it just come with these t-shirts?
No, there's no correspondence that I can detect.
Well, Cinema SF, thank
And
you.
Balboa
and the
Theater.
Balboa Theater, thank you so much. Please, I would love to know who you actually are if you want to send us a follow-up because we love these shirts. Oh my God.
Oh, it's a longie. Quite a letter.
It's a longie. We call these longies.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, this is the guy who sent us the last really long one,
Yep.
but it was before my time.
Oh, is
Remember?
it? Yeah, but he didn't. Oh, it's this guy. Hey, I'm back. Do you want me to read this one too? He commented, he was like, I can't believe you read almost my entire letter on camera.
Well, I'll be like, the first sentence is, did I scare you? You scared me. I didn't think you meant to, though. Catagelophobia is the fear of embarrassment and ridicule. When Kevin read my lengthy letter during his last mailbag video, I felt myself getting red in the face.
Oh no! What I thought was clever seemed very silly when read aloud. Oh no, okay.
First of all, no, your
First
letter
of all,
was
no.
awesome. We said that. I told you that too.
We fucking loved your letter. I got so stoked when I realized it was the same guy. Also, reading aloud things is hard, you know, and sometimes it just sounds weird. But this time I'm certain my letter is not silly. This time I have something very important to tell you. That said, read what you want of this letter. You can stop reading right now. My feelings won't be hurt. It's possible no one will read this. That's fine too.
That's not possible.
I'm used to sending messages in bottles. I was stranded on a desert island for 20 years. I sent out many bottled messages during my time on the island. Then one day I got a bright idea. Hey, since these bottles float, I should make a raft out of them. So I lashed the bottles together and floated off to rejoin civilization.
I love this.
Being cast away on an island for so long, I had to learn to entertain myself. I found myself talking a lot to the plants and animals on the island. They were great listeners, especially the plants. Sometimes I would talk to them all day long. Readjustment has been tough. Obviously, I still struggle with brevity. I know people are busy and don't have time to listen to me carry on, and yet I keep babbling. People can be quite uncivilized if they think you're talking to them too much, especially strangers. I still spend most of my time talking to plants and animals. One day, I was out walking along some cornfields. Ears of corn, right? Should be good listeners. And I saw a man all by himself in the middle of the corn. He reminded me of me. I had been surrounded by the sea. He was surrounded by a sea of corn. I watched him for a while and noticed he didn't move at all. I bet he's a good listener, I thought. I bet he won't get mad at me for talking too much. Looks like he could use some company. The way his arms were stretched out wide made him look very welcoming, like he wanted to give me a hug. So I walked up to the scarecrow. When I reached him, I broke the ice. How's it hanging? I said. I thought that was pretty clever. Oh, haha, that's a good one. I've never heard that one before, he said sarcastically. But do you know what's really funny? No, I said concisely. I'll tell you what's really funny. Jesus being crucified. He laughed. That wasn't funny at all. He was murdered. Yes, it was funny. He was such a baby crying out for his daddy. We scarecrows were on the hill next to Golgotha, and we got a big laugh out of it. We all think Jesus is a joke. He was in excruciating pain. I'm crucified all the time, and I'm not complaining. You're a scarecrow. Jesus was a wimp. The funniest part is people made a religion out of that loser. Jesus was the best of us. The Scarecrow got a big laugh out of that. It was a gut buster, literally. He was laughing so hard that a few pieces of straw fell out of his gut. I raised my voice to compete with his laughter. No, really, Jesus was kind and considerate. He was a great listener. Look at all those people coming up to him with their problems. I'd get sick of that. It's like the movie Life of Brian. Ever see it? Movies are silly. You shouldn't waste your time on make-believe. That was last straw. While talking to the Scarecrow, my hands had balled up in anger. I thought, what would Jesus do? Then I tore into the Scarecrow like George the Animal Steel, tearing into a turnbuckle. When it was all over...
Excellent reference.
I looked down at the straw strewn about me and said, who's laughing now? Pretty clever, I thought. Okay, the Scarecrow's dislike of movies might have been his own personal failing, but he said all Scarecrows think Jesus is a joke. I hope now you can see why it is important that I share the story with you. The name of your store is very offensive to Christians. Rather, it will soon be very offensive to Christians. Word gets around. You know how I like to talk. I think you should change your store's name lest you want hundreds of Christians charging your store with torches and pitchforks in hand. Or something much, much worse. They could be holding DVDs of The Passion of the Christ. Still with me? I want to mention why I sent the postcard along with the letter. Several years ago, I saw the documentary Streetwise. It left a mark on me. I'm guessing you know about the movie, so I won't go into that. It was definitely a tough movie to endure, but I felt it was worthwhile. If nothing else, it introduced me to the music of Baby Gramps, and I am grateful for that. I wonder how much the Seattle of today resembles the Seattle in that movie. My sister lived in Seattle for a year back in the grungy 90s. She liked the city, but not the weather. Ombraphobia is the fear of rain. Musophobia is the fear of rats or mice. Molluscophobia is the fear of slimy creatures like slugs. Ostium tractophobia is the fear of doorknobs. According to what I've read, Cameron Diaz has this phobia. Abophobia is the fear of palindromes. Baby Gramps definitely does not have this phobia. Samhainophobia is the fear of, and the fear of reality is called reality. Till next time, and I bet you can't wait, your friend from the fort, Scarecrow Man Lewandowski.
Fascinating.
So this picture, it says on here, this picture, photograph, because you mentioned Streetwise, is by Mary Ellen Mark, who was the photographer who was one of the filmmakers of the movie Streetwise, who died a few years ago, but was one of the creators of that movie. So it all comes back around. And,
Wow.
Yeah. The city of Seattle does not really resemble the city of Streetwise anymore, for better and for worse, probably.
I don't think we're going to change the name of the store either, but
but
we don't want to offend anybody.
But wow. Thanks again.
That was a heck of a
Thank
letter.
you.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad I happened to be here for this one.
Yeah, right?
It's weird timing. Serendipitous,
Wow.
but better than the movie Serendipity.
Definitely. We have a couple online mailbags.
Ooh.
Segundo Volante,
On Twitter asks,
who are your Mount Rushmore of horror directors? Who's going first? Kev?
Kevin is.
No, I'm not first.
You go first.
I'm a special guest. I'm third.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We are going to go Lucio Fulci.
Nice.
We are going to go Wes Craven. I'm going to put David Lynch in there. And then I'm going to go Cronenberg.
Excellent.
Love it.
Excellent choices.
Great.
And if anyone cares, I have my normal directors that I Rushmoreized, and I even paired them with their accompanying president.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Would you like to?
Yes.
No, I do. Since we're here, let's do it.
Martin Scorsese is Thomas Jefferson because he helps represent the growth of the U.S. through the Declaration of Independence. He does a lot for the community and preserving film culture.
Yeah.
Dorothy Arzner is George Washington because she's the first lady director who made some hits, like Merrily We Go to Hell, Dance Girl Dance, Working Girls, etc., much like George Washington was the first president.
Love it.
Did she have wooden teeth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, I picked these directors and then I paired them. So Nicholas Refn is going to be Lincoln.
Oh, hell
Because
yeah.
Lincoln was a self-taught lawyer and Refn got expelled from film school for throwing a table or something. And David Lynch, who appears on both my Rushmores, Theodore Roosevelt, because he's innovative and for the working man, just like David Lynch, loves to highlight small town heroes and the working actors and actresses of Hollywood.
Excellent.
And they both probably love the national park system.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I would say my Mount Rushmore of horror directors are John Carpenter, David Cronenberg, Argento, but only up until like the 90s.
You see his new one that came out?
I'm told it's not very good, but I haven't seen it.
Either.
I've heard tell from a little bird named me that it sucks.
Damn.
I've heard other people say it's good, but I haven't seen it.
Other people are wrong. I'm going to just go ahead and say that.
There we go.
Objectively bad.
Right.
Another county heard from. And then last but certainly not least, Mario Bava.
Ooh, Baba.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. What do you got?
Shit.
Since you're sitting there.
I am sitting here. All right.
Since you're here.
Let's see. 4 horror directors. I thought it would be easier, but then while you guys were talking, I was trying to think of some that maybe you didn't say, but I'll probably say some of the same ones.
That's fine.
Romero, George Romero, Sam Raimi, Cronenberg. Cronenberg's got to be on there, even though he's Canadian. You know, and Mount
Yeah.
It's all stolen land anyway.
Right, that's
Right?
true. I'm just gonna say it, even though it's more thrillers than horror. I'm gonna say Brian De Palma.
Oh,
Good job.
perfect.
Good job.
Fucking
Yeah.
De Palma.
I would like
De
to
Palma,
throw in-
because I mean Carrie is one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
I
and
would
even-
add-
and his thrillers like Dressed to Kill and shit are
Yeah.
essentially horror.
I would
movies.
add a Rushmore president for De Palma to add on
Palma,
to
yeah.
almost both of my Rushmore.
Yeah.
And De Palma.
I would like to throw in just like one special shout out to Herc Harvey, who directed
who's
Carnival
Herc
of Souls.
Oh, yes.
Who is, not known for making horror films. He's an industrial filmmaker, but you talked about Carnival of Souls on the show last episode or the episode before.
Last episode.
And I love that movie. It's one of the spookiest movies of all time.
I still
And,
haven't watched the Halloween education thing that you guys
Oh,
dug
yeah.
up.
That's really
I gotta
good.
watch that.
You also got to watch the work safety one.
You mean you'll work on engines and machinery and not think of your own personal safety? Here, shake hands with danger.
Shake hands with danger. Need a guy who ought to know. I used to laugh at safety. Now they call me Three-Finger Joe. Shake hands with danger. Find it anywhere you choose. Be careless for a moment. Spend a lifetime with the blues.
Yeah.
Which is like a horror movie.
It's horrifying, yes.
It's great. It's fucking great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one more.
Yes, we do.
And this is from our friend Sandra, our wonderful, amazing friend Sandra.
It's truly, this came up at my little movie hangout while we were watching the director's cut of Nightbreed.
Yes. And Sandra wants to know, what are our favorite director's cuts?
Yes.
Who's going first?
I'll go first because
Okay.
mine are basic.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like this is more of a, I feel like you're better at answering this question. You probably will be too, just because I feel like you guys pay more attention to the releases of these things.
I don't know. I might.
But I did
haven't-
some internet research, and I'm gonna say the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings movies, because I first watched the normal movies in theaters, and then the only other time I've seen them, I watched all the extended ones, and I had a really great time with them. So I'm just gonna go with that
I like the longer ones better.
experience.
Yeah.
You know.
There's parts in the third one that make me cry that aren't in the theatrical cut.
I think they're all too damn long.
Totally. I feel like I watched these like
And then there's
over
Then
like
there's me.
Christmas break where I was just like in bed, just like, smoking the Hobbit's
I will.
pipe.
I
the
will
whole
say
time.
that the director's cut of the Two Towers is the most significant improvement of any of the 3 longer cuts.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Director's cut of Blade Runner. Duh.
That is also on my list.
Special edition cut of Aliens, which is, I guess, is a director's cut. And we kind of talked about this before we were rolling. I just feel like it has more Mama Ripley and Newt footage and context, and I'm a huge Newt fan. So, and then also me and my sister, we watch one Halloween movie every year until she's all caught up, and we watched Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers this year, and we chose the producer's cut of that, which is still bad. But apparently, according to the internet, it looks a lot better than the theatrical cut. So we went with that one.
Okay.
Paul, you just can't you can't have Paul Rudd in a movie like that. Even
No.
though it was one of his first movies, because he just sounds like he's joking the whole time.
And he looks exactly the same.
yeah.
When did you make that movie? Last year?
Yeah, seriously.
Between Ant-Man?
Mine are pretty basic answers too. Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven.
I still haven't seen Kingdom of Heaven.
And I'm one of those people. I really liked the theatrical cut of Kingdom of Heaven, but everybody's right. The director's cut, the much longer version, is a significant improvement. It is a much better movie. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's better, but it is equally great. Is the director's cut of The Abyss, which adds a lot of extra footage. You get a lot more character development. It has an entirely different ending. I think both cuts work fantastically. I just rewatched the director's cut a few weeks ago. You could put any version of The Abyss in front of me and I would love it.
I
Wouldn't
rewatched
matter.
that recently too. It's so good.
Tremendous. I also have Blade Runner, specifically the director's cut, which I prefer to the final cut. They are not super.
Isn't there like 18,000 different cuts of Blade Runner?
There are
approximately?
there are relatively 4 or 5 cuts of Blade Runner. There's the theatrical cut, the international cut, the director's cut from
the
the
final
90s,
cut.
the work print, and the final cut. So 5. I prefer the 92, I think, director's cut. It's essentially the same as the final cut, but the final cut makes some more cosmetic changes, cleans up the color timing, adds some, fixes some of the special
But this
effects.
still includes unicorn shit at the end.
Yes,
no
all that stuff's the same, no voiceover. The final cut is a cleaner, more finessed version of the director's cut. I prefer the relative roughness of the 90 director's cut, which technically Ridley Scott didn't have anything to do with. And finally, speaking of Ridley Scott, this will be the third one of his on my list, is his longer cut of The Counselor.
Oh yeah, that movie.
Yeah, a movie that many people have either not bothered to see or hated it if they saw it.
I saw it in theaters. Cameron Diaz fucks a car.
Great film. Great film. I wish,
Cinema.
my only wish is that either cut or that there would be a third additional cut would restore, so Cameron Diaz originally filmed that movie speaking in an accent. She speaks sort of like in a Bahamian accent like Rihanna.
Yeah.
Because her character is supposed to be adopted and was raised on the islands, so she had an accent, but audiences really didn't respond to
They
it.
tested it and they were like, no.
So her entire performance in the movie is 80 yard. So she redubbed her whole part in her own speaking voice. I would like to see the original, mostly out of curiosity. I don't think it would really make it better or worse, but I would think it would be fun.
Release the Cameron Diaz accent cut.
I have a couple, but I at some point stopped watching. They would kept releasing like extended cuts of things, particularly comedies, and I specifically stopped watching them because they were generally just longer and less funny. And
Extra
not as,
trash.
And not as good. And speaking of, because the Aliens director's cut is one that I have conflicted feelings about, because I do like the thing where she's a mom, like that stuff. But I really don't like the scene with Newt and the family before, because I think it's better when that's revealed when Newt is there later on. Like, I like more Newt, but I just don't like...
It's at.
I just don't think it's necessary. I think you are following Ripley. And
I kind of agree with you.
I just don't like that it cuts away to that and you're like, who the fuck are these people?
I agree with you.
I don't like that kind of thing. I feel that way, but The Abyss, I think, the Abyss director's cut, not only does it have a better ending, it has an ending, whereas the theatrical cut kind of just ends. Like, the theatrical cut, it ends and you go like, okay, yeah, that's the end of the movie. Whereas the director's cut, it's like, oh, okay, so that was what they were doing. There was a point to that.
Right.
There's a whole.
But it also adds a lot of extra material to build up to that.
There's a ton of stuff throughout that.
Like all the stuff about the Russians and the United with the submarines and stuff.
It's all in service of like.
Yes.
And then there's an ending to the movie. 2 of them that I talked about on the show that actually I like the director's cuts better are that are over here. I'm looking at right now because I'm like, what am I gonna do? Are Walk Hard and Legend. And Walk Hard is one of the few comedies.
Another Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott is a director's cut for almost every.
Yeah, he's a notorious director's cutter.
Yeah.
But Walk Hard is one of the few comedies where I'm like, this could be longer. I just more of this shit. Let's go. Who's gonna play the Beatles? Who's playing the Rolling Stones? Let's get 5 guys in here fucking playing the fucking Rolling Stones. And the Legend director's cut, I think, is actually a much better movie. It makes the movie make sense. It doesn't have the Tangerine Dream score.
Oh, if it did though.
Oh, you've talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, and I've talked about both of these on the show. But it's actually a movie where you go like, whoa, what a fucking immersive fantasy world, and wow, cool. And it actually like works better as a story than the other cut, which is like 20 minutes shorter. I guess those would be my picks. A lot of director's cuts I just don't like. I was looking over here and I saw The Descent, and it's like original unrated cut, and I don't like the original unrated director's cut.
I have one.
I think that ending sucks. I think the one that they released here, where it's a happier ending, is much better.
The unrated cut of Drag Me to Hell is better.
The director's cut.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a director's, but the unrated, not PG-13 cut of Drag Me to Hell is better because it's just more fucked up. And that movie, even with its PG-13 release, is fucking awesome. And watch that if you haven't. Rich, do you have any director's cut feelings or thoughts that we haven't already covered?
Yeah, he has one.
Touch of Evil.
Yeah.
The director's edit way after the director
posthumously
made an edit of it is following the copious notes left behind by Wells is great. And
But the original is also
the
great.
director's also, I mean, what you get with the director's cut is you have that amazing opening that's unadulterated by the credits.
I would like to talk about two that I think are better theatrical cuts.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, good idea.
Miami Vice.
Yes.
Okay.
Theatrical cut is the only cut, as far as I'm concerned. It's not that the director's cut is better or worse, but it doesn't have the cold open.
It's weird sometimes I just don't know what cuts of things I've seen.
The theatrical cut of Miami Vice is
I
not
haven't
super
seen it in
easy to
theater,
see on home
obviously.
video. Mostly the director's cut is what's available on DVD and Blu-ray. I have a nice Blu-ray imported from the UK of the theatrical cut. I think that it's mostly superior because it has this particular cold open where it has like no opening credits, just sort of throws you into the middle of the story on a very like abrupt hard cut.
Yeah.
The director's cut has like a more regular opening credits sequence, which is a good scene, but doesn't really add anything to the movie.
It's a good deleted scene.
It's a good deleted scene. It's a cool shot. Like it has a really cool opening shot where like it starts in blackness and like slowly more light comes into the frame and you realize you're coming up from underwater and then this boat goes over your head and the credits start. But the cold open and the theatrical cut is better. Also, the Tony Scott film Revenge. The theatrical cut of Revenge is a little over 2 hours long and is technically not Tony Scott's cut of the film. It was the producer's cut, who, in collaboration with Kevin Costner, the star, who kind of took over the movie. In the mid-2000s, I believe, Tony Scott released what he calls his director's cut on a home video, and it's terrible. He cut like 40 minutes out of the movie.
Are we talking about that movie?
We are going to
For
talk
our-
about it. This one,
not
Suspense
here,
is Killing
but
Us.
on our podcast.
He cut like 40 minutes out of it and made it more to conform with his like late 2000s style, and it's ruinous. He just destroyed the movie.
Oh.
So if you're out there within the sound of my voice and want to watch the Tony Scott movie Revenge, personally my favorite Tony Scott movie, do not watch the director's cut.
Agreed.
Also, don't watch the director's cut of The Warriors.
No, God, no.
Yeah, no.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Not
what's
technically a
up with that
director's
one?
cut. He
It's all-
added all of these like animated interstitial scene
weird.
transitions.
It sucked.
It ruined.
The movie is paced so briskly
Yeah.
and so great, and it just slows it down every scene transition.
Yeah, it just ruins the movie.
Sucks so hard.
Is that it?
I think
Yeah.
that was a mailbag.
Is that all of it?
Mailbag.
Send our mail before we sing out. Please send us some mail to viva@scarecrow.com, or if you have physical mail, letters, gifts, packages, 5030 Roosevelt Way, Northeast Seattle, Washington, 98105.
Or you can get us on Twitter @PhysicalViva.
Yes.
And if you really want to, you can just hit you or I up on Twitter.
Yeah.
@Colonel Mortimer, @eSoderback.
Or you can come into the store if you're in the area.
And one of them they sent. This is yours.
Oh no, but hold that up real quick, because that's kind of a mailbag. You got that for me.
I did.
Kevin got this for me on the new Bev when he was on his journeys. Isn't it a cool shirt?
It's a cool shirt.
All right.
Mailbag.